Hi everyone, my name's Amy. I work for the Momentum team within Voluntary Norfolk, and I'm here today to introduce you to Anne, who is a trustee at Nelson's Journey. Anne, can you just tell us a little bit more about yourself, please?
Sure. So my name's Anne Beckett-Allan, and my day job, I'm a founding director of Rosedale Funeral Home. And I also have some business interests with my family construction company. But I'm a trustee of Nelson's Journey. And I really enjoy my role. I was trying to think how many years I've been doing it for, but it's definitely more than 5. But I'm not actually. But that was probably pre-pandemic, so it's probably more like 7.
Long enough that you've forgotten how many.
Yeah.
That's great, thanks. So what first attracted you to the role of trustee?
Well, to be fair, I was approached by Nelson's Journey. We were doing some collaborating with Rosedale and Nelson's Journey. We were trying to offer some training to school teachers and professionals working with children to make sure that they could support bereaved children in school. So we'd worked together on that, and then Debbie, who was the service manager, approached me to ask whether it's something that I'd be interested in, and kind of like that was where the seed was sown. But it probably took about 18 months to 2 years before really anything kind of happened, and then I guess it was just kind of waiting for the time to be right, both for Nelson's Journey and for me. And then one of the existing trustees came and took me out for a coffee and kind of like explained what the role entailed and kind of like what kind of commitment would be needed from me. And we just took it from there, really.
Yeah, it's great that you had that experience of having it all explained properly and sort of that induction process with another trustee. That's brilliant.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So what does the role of trustee look like for Nelson's Journey? What kind of things do you get involved in?
So we have board meetings, and then depending on, sometimes they're monthly, sometimes they're bi-monthly, depending on really what's going on in the charity at the time and what kind of issues there are to address. So we have a reasonable size board where we all get together, although obviously at the moment that's by Zoom. And then we also have smaller committees. So we have things like we have a finance and a personnel committee and a governance committee. And the 2 committees that I've been involved in, one of them I was a link trustee with the youth panel, which is a group of young people that develop ideas for Nelson's Journey, and sometimes also incorporated the young volunteers. And then also for a while, for a few years, I was on the marketing committee, because that's kind of like my background. I've had a few marketing roles as well as my role of funeral director. And so I was able to, I guess they make up the committees like in a way that you play to people's strengths.
Yeah, that's really good, and that you can bring all of that experience and all that knowledge that you had from a previous role and use it to benefit Nelson's Journey.
Yeah.
Great. Did you have any worries about becoming a trustee? What sort of concerns before you took on the role?
Do you know what? I think my biggest worry was imposter syndrome. I think lots of us suffer from it. And I kind of felt like, well, I've only ever been involved in a family business before. I've got no experience of working for a charity. I've got no experience of working with young people. And I guess I just kind of felt like I didn't really have anything to offer. In the first few meetings, I just kind of like observed, and people were talking about these things that I didn't really understand. But I really quickly kind of got a handle on it, and then kind of like once you've got involved and you understand what's going on, then it's sort of like you go from feeling like you don't have anything to offer to kind of feeling like, oh my gosh, I think this and I think that, and I think I could help in this area. So that very quickly kind of went away, and I think the roles really helped me to grow and develop my own personal confidence as well, and feel like actually I do have something to offer and to really value my contribution.
Yeah, great, thank you. So what would you say is the thing you enjoy most about it then?
I really love it when we do strategy and planning days, planning for the future, and I think that's something that I'm probably not ever so strong on within my own business. I think sometimes we kind of like fly by the seat of our pants, and we're quite reactive, and we have ideas and then we kind of act on them, but we don't necessarily sit down and like step back and develop a 5 or 10 year plan. So I think that's something that I've really enjoyed learning with Nelson's journey. So I've kind of like, I think I've learned as much from them as I have kind of like given. And I think it's like anything, the more you put in, the more you get out. But it's also been really good understanding how the organisation ticks. And I've also really, really valued actually being a person that the staff can relate to, and somebody that you can build up that level of trust, so that if they have concerns and they want to come and talk to a board member, that they can do that. And there have been occasions where they have done that, and that's made me feel really special actually, you know, that I've been able to develop that trust over the years.
That's great, and really useful that they've got someone approachable on the board, that, you know, you're not just a faceless board of trustees, but you've got that sort of regular engagement with them. Yeah. And it must be great in Nelson's journey as well, being able to work with the youth panel, because I know they're all such brilliant, enthusiastic young people.
Oh, they're absolutely amazing. They've just won a Queen's Award for some of their work.
Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah. Oh, that's very well deserved. Yeah.
They're a really brilliant bunch of young people, and I've really enjoyed that part of the role. And one thing I was privileged to do, they developed a Smiles and Tears gift box that they put together, full of things that they knew from their own personal experience of grief that they would have found useful if someone had sent it to them as a gift at the time when they'd been bereaved of their special person. And it was amazing actually to be involved in that project right from the start, when they were kind of like scoping it out and doing some research as to whether there was a need for it, right to like the launch, and to be one of the first people to have bought a Smiles and Tears gift box. So that's been really special.
Oh, great. So what would you say then to someone who was thinking of becoming a trustee for a charity?
I would say definitely give it a go, because you will learn a lot and you will also gain new skills and new experiences. I think it's really good to go outside of your comfort zone. It did take me outside of my comfort zone, but I think that's that's a positive thing. And I think if you want to develop yourself, then it's a really brilliant way to grow your network, and to make new connections, and also to discover different approaches to problems. So when you work with such a diverse group of people, and we try and make up our board with a really diverse skill set. So we'll have people with a finance background, we'll have people with a personnel background, we'll have people with clinical experience. So we try and have a past service user on the board.
Yeah.
And we have people with governance skills. So you've got all these amazing skills around the board table, and basically you grow your networking, and afterwards you can talk to them and you can sound them out, and so it's great to have other colleagues and people that you can learn from. But I am a firm believer that you get out what you put in. But I also think that it's really important that you're honest about your commitment, and you don't overcommit, because if you are busy, and sometimes I think busy people are the people that get things done.
Yes.
So I think it's a good thing. You don't necessarily have to have bags and bags of time on your hands, but I do think that you need to be really honest about what your commitment is, so that you don't overcommit, and then you can't necessarily do things well.
Sure. All right, well, thanks very much for that. That's really helpful. Thanks.